Couldn't get any parts in Ireland, but I knew that. England was sold out. Europe was sold out. Had to get them from America. Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Yes, we have all the parts here because what we are doing, because this is an old car, we are just going to replace absolutely everything because it's just going to make life easier, and he wants it to be reliable, and the parts are very hard to get, so there's no point just replacing one part. We'll replace everything. Essentially what happened is I did another video when I was collecting this. The car broke down, it overheated. He was stood in a queue for a while and the temperature just shot up. Now we didn't lose any water, and we've got no water and oil mixing, so as regards head gasket and smoke out the back, that's all good, which is obviously good because that would be a lot more expensive. So what we're going to do is just going to replace absolutely everything because, like I said, it's the easiest thing to do. So new thermostat, new fan clutch, because this one, even though the fan clutch is maybe not broke, but at the end of the day it has heated, and we're just going to replace the fan clutch and obviously the water pump. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to flush the system out because this is an old car, you don't know what's in it, so we're going to completely do a rad flush before we go any further. There's loads of stuff out there, but this is the stuff I'm using. Just going to pour it into here. Well, you have to drain it first, half fill it in this particular case, then pour this in and then top it up. Run the engine at a fast idle for about 10 minutes, get it up to temperature. Now some other stuff might be different, so obviously read the bottle on whatever you're doing, but that's what we're going to do. And we're going to completely flush out the radiator, the matrix, all the pipes. You can see that radiator looks fairly new, and I believe it is new, but that doesn't mean there was crap, you know, caught in the heater matrix, let's say, and it's come to the radiator, or vice versa. You just don't know. You don't know what the old condition of the radiator was like. You don't know the crap. You just don't know. So to be on the safe side, we're going to completely flush it before we do anything. So there's no point me showing you that. Just pour this in, run the engine, and then once that's done, we'll continue. They don't make BMWs like they used to. This hasn't been started in about 3 weeks, I'd say. And really, watch this. Look at that. Absolutely perfectly. Now it's just doing all its checks. We can press here, check, check, tells us what's wrong, but yeah, let this bad boy heat up and we'll go from there. Right, it does say fast idle, so what I've done is I've taken the cap from the bottle and I've just wedged it on the throttle, and that is now a fast idle. Obviously a newer car you can do it through a scan tool, but good old school you can do it through a bottle cap. Now when you are doing this, especially on an older car, and especially when it's already overheated, don't just walk away and let it do this, because the chances are it's going to overheat and you're going to do damage to your engine. So be very, very careful. Keep an eye on it. Don't just walk away, because this is going to overheat on me, I know it is. But I might have to work this stuff here a few times, so turn it off, let it work in, turn it back on for another 10 minutes, just to kind of, you know, get it to work over, because the fan isn't in great condition. You can see the rot out of the fan. I don't know if it's showing that, so I just have to be careful, and you have to obviously be careful you're doing the same. Right, I've taken the thermostat out and just look at the crap that's been all plugged up in here. I think the heater matrix is also blocked with all this crap, and you can see all the build up and crap around there. Issue is, old car, 2 of the studs broke. 2 out of 4 broke. I managed to get 2 out, but the other 2 just broke, so that's going to be so much fun. But just the colour and the crap of this water, look what's in it. So yeah, that's the problem when an old car kind of sits up for a while, because this isn't used every day, and this is the issues you get when you don't use a car every day. When people say, oh, I've got a car, it's got low mileage, isn't that great? Not necessarily. It really isn't. And yeah, so I'm just going to keep stripping now. And you can even see one of the bolts is loose off the pulley. I haven't taken that off, that was already loose. And you can see the fan does this as it starts. Hopefully you saw that in the beginning of the video, because that water pump is obviously dodgy as well. So a bit more stripping, take these pipes off, get as much as I can off to make it easier for me to remove the fan. Right, got off the viscous fan, and obviously we're replacing the actual part of this, not the blade, but the actual viscous part of it, or the clutch part of it, should I say, inside here, because again this is heated up and this is old, so no harm to do it. By rights would be better with a electric fan, and there's loads of sensors you can tie into to actually run it from the car itself, and you can always put a switch internally in the car to run it. But anyway, there's not really a lot of room to put an electric fan, because you really want an electric fan and a cowl. There's not really a lot of room, but we haven't got time to do it. So what I'm going to do now is loosen the alternator, get the pulley off, and then that will allow me to get the pump out sorted. And yes, it started raining. Don't you just love it? So map gas, vice grips, and we are getting there. Not too bad at all. So that's how I'm getting them out. Well, that's how I'm getting one of them out. What can happen is when you're trying to undo the bolts of the pulley, it will spin. So what you can do is grab the belt and lift the belt up. That will sometimes hold the pulley just enough to crack it. And the way you crack it, get a long spanner, put it on and just go fast, and that can sometimes crack it. It just makes it a bit easier for you, otherwise you have to start holding pulleys and stuff. But when you hold pulleys, you can actually damage them, so don't hold them with vice grips and stuff like that. Unless you're changing it, doesn't really matter then. Right, so I'm just cleaning all these now, just to see if they're not damaged or anything like that. You can see that one's a little bit damaged, but it's not where the threads are actually catching. But I'm a firm believer in the car has a gasket on it, and this one happens to be a metal gasket, and there was a load of sealer on this, and look what the sealer does to the threads. If there is a gasket, I do not use sealer. I clean everything, make the two surfaces nice and smooth, and I just put the gasket in place. I'm a big firm believer in that. You know, you can do what you want to do, but you can see the damage the sealer does, and it can make these bolts break. It can cause all sorts of issues if you ever have to take it back off again. And all the bits of sealer, if it's got into the bolt, you can imagine what it's going to do when it gets into the engine and just cause, well, absolutely destroy it. So you do what you want to do, but I'm not going to put any sealer on this because there's a gasket. And I know I'm going to get people in the comments saying, well, I've used sealer, never had an issue. Well, that's fine. You know, like I said, you do you. I told you why I'm not going to do it, and I told you the reasons why, that I'm not personally doing it, but you do you. The most important part about a job like this is cleaning, because as you can see, look at all the build-up. And this is on everything. This is on every pipe I've taken off and absolutely everything. But not only that, look at the crap that was floating around inside. So this is just caked up. I think we had an issue with the water pump, because you could see it was wobbling, but also all this build-up all floating around, and the heater matrix is now blocked, I think, and yeah, it's just more issues. But I've got to carefully clean all this around here so the pipes don't leak, so the customer has no issue, and obviously clean the mating surfaces and everything. The cleaning takes longer than doing the job, but it's the most important thing. You can see the difference from where I've done it to where the build-up is. So, and it's, as you can see, there's a lip there right on the edge, and that's essentially what seals the pipe, as well as the Jubilee clip. But yeah, so we need to get all that crap off, and as you can see, there's a lot of build-up. This is what I was talking about. Look, the build-up's just on everything, but just look how much crap is also inside, internally floating around this engine. Right, new clutch on the fan. This one you can see is old. It's been battered, it's been rounded, look. So, and it's overheated. So it's always safe just to put one on, a new one. It feels a lot better anyway. And yeah, new one on. We're getting there. Right, we're getting there. We got the pump back on, we got the pulleys back on, and I've just disconnected the heater matrix pipes because I want to just try and flush everything, because when you flush the radiator, you don't really flush the engine. And I want to flush everything. Now, I am going to be just putting normal water back in this, letting it run up to temperature, draining it back out. Maybe doing that 2 or 3 times before I actually put the, you know, the antifreeze, the coolant and all that stuff in, just to make sure I get everything out. Because as you can see from the other videos, there's a lot of crap in here. And I just want to make sure everything is flushed properly. So, we can put the hose down that pipe and essentially wait for it to come out somewhere. I can hear it bubbling. Where's it going to come out? I'm going to try and show you all the crap that's in it if I can. It's coming through the pump. That doesn't look too bad actually, that looks quite good. Shame I didn't get on video all the actual crap that did come out the front of it, but you can see it's not particularly clear. So what I'm going to do is put it back through there. Always, once you've done one end, always push it through the opposite end, because you just might disturb some of the crap that's built up, and when you're pushing it one way you don't necessarily get it all the way out. So what I'm going to do now is, that's coming through this pipe, so what I want to do is I want to flush the heater matrix. I want to get it in that pipe and see what comes out of that top pipe. Let's see if we can do that on camera. Let me do that. Now, look at that. Look at the crap. Now you can see the difference. Look at the crap coming out of that. Anyway, you get the idea. This is what I'm going to be doing. Flushing all the pipes as best I can. And then, once I've got everything back together, I will be running the engine, kind of letting the engine flush itself, just with normal water, 2 or 3 times, maybe more. It depends. Once the water starts coming out clear, that's when you kind of can stop. But if you keep flushing it and it keeps coming out, and I don't mean putting any stuff in, I just mean letting the water go through. If you keep draining it, it's a lot of crap, then you just have to keep doing it, because you can see all the rust that was inside everywhere, and all that rust is building up and it's just caused blockages and caused all sorts of crap. Just look how beautiful Ireland is. Now the camera's not showing this justice, but there's a light fog in the air and it just looks gorgeous, and it's really, really cold. I'm showing you this, one, because it looks beautiful, and 2, because you'll see why. I haven't put the fan back on yet because I want it to heat up a lot quicker. You can see it's very, very cold outside, and I want the water to circulate and drain it, drain it. If the fan's on, because it's always constantly on, this will never really heat up properly because it's really, really cold. So that's why I've done it. I'm obviously keeping an eye on the heat and there's normal water in here. I want it to circulate, I want it to get all the crap out. I haven't tied all the pipes in properly yet, so I can pull them out, clean them, do it. So this is going to take, I don't know, an hour or so, a couple of hours, just to make sure I've got it all as best as I possibly can. Check the heater matrix, make sure that's alright. Try and somehow undo that bleed nipple, which I just think is going to be very difficult, but we'll see. Right, freed up the heater matrix. We're getting hot air inside now. Put everything back on. Got the bleed nipple off. Engine's not overheating, but it's just not pumping any water through where the bleed nipple should be. This pipe is boiling hot, that pipe is hot. Check the bottom radiator pipe, really cold. Top half of the radiator hot, bottom half cold. This radiator is also blocked. Even though I completely flushed it, we've still got an issue. The car isn't overheating because it's only essentially ticking over, so it's not really under a lot of pressure. The fact that we're getting hot air in the heater matrix and I'm blowing the hot air inside, that's obviously cooling the engine down a little bit. The fact that the fan is constantly moving is obviously cooling down the engine. But once this gets under pressure, once you start, you know, doing 50, 60 mile an hour for a long period of time, it's going to do something. Now, it might move, all that crap might move, but it's just going to land back in the heater matrix. So we want to try and get it out. So I'm now unfortunately going to have to take all the fan off again, and I'm going to try and blow this through, do something. Might have to use another can of engine flush. I don't really want to use that, and the reason is because it's going to push it through the system, and I don't really want to do that. I want to try and force it out with just the radiator. It's not just a simple case of taking the radiator out, because the transmission cooler goes through that as well, so it's a bit awkward. We'll get there though. Take the fan off again and we'll see what we can do. Alright, I'm trying to get it, and I've just taken off one of the the nut just behind the pump, or just behind the thermostat, and look at the build-up of crap that's on that. It's nasty. So yeah, there was a hell of a lot. Still haven't got the radiator unblocked, but we're getting there, hopefully anyway. So, but you can just see the amount of crap. What I'm going to do is I want to put it all back together and kind of, I want to see if the pump is pumping, because just make sure that the pump is doing its job, pumping enough. If it's kind of spewing out like that once the car is running, then I know the pump is definitely doing its job, even though it does look like it's returning here. But yeah, but look at the crap that's on that. Right, we are getting there. I don't know how long it's been. I flushed that out as best as I can separately with not putting any more engine flush in there, because like I said, it move it around. I put the scaler in there with boiling hot water, blocked up both the pipes. I've done that a few times and I really think we're getting somewhere now, and I'll show you why I think we're getting somewhere. Because if I do this, if I can now, look at that, people, it is hissing out. It is circulating, yeah. So I've just got to double check it now. Drain the whole system because there's only water in here. Drain the whole system, put all the duplicates back because it's all, you know, I haven't put anything back properly because I'm testing it. And put the antifreeze and coolant in it, put the fan back on it, and fingers crossed, we're done. Fingers crossed, I think we've got it. The radiator now is all warm. Both pipes, top and bottom pipe is warm. Both heater matrix pipes is warm. It's flowing through. We're getting air, or we're getting water from the bleed nipple. It's looking really good. You can see now that the fan isn't wobbling like it was before. So it was just a lot of crap, you know, old car, a lot of crap, old parts, just the usual stuff. And again, just best replacing everything, because then you know everything is new. So it's all looking good so far. I still have to you know, make sure it's bled properly, take it for a drive, and then fingers crossed, I think we can safely say we can give it back to the customer. Sorted. Or for your eagle-eyed viewers among us, you might have realised that in the first part, or the middle part of the video, when I put that hose on there, the duplicate was really close to the fan, and it was, but I've changed it and put it around now. I take it all back off anyway. It wasn't doing anything, it was just quite close. It wasn't going to affect anything, but I've just turned it around, put it completely the other way, so definitely not going to affect anything now. And there we go. Okay, great news. Absolutely perfect. It won't go above halfway like it is there now. Driving lovely, nice heat inside the car, ticking over, not overheating, ragging it, not overheating, driving normally, not overheating. Absolutely perfect. But I have noticed a thing or two. So, and it's a shame. What I really wanted to do, I don't have this car long enough. I've got a really good idea to do like a car review, but not like you've ever seen it before. And this is the perfect car to do it on. And unfortunately, I just don't have it long enough to actually do it. But I will do it for another videos, and I want to do like a series on it. But what I have noticed is, now, watch the temperature gauge. Now, all I'm doing, well, I won't tell you what I'm doing yet, but look at it. All I'm doing is turning the heater on, and look at the temperature gauge. It actually goes up as I turn the heater on. But what's also interesting, I put the indicator on, and look at it. Now, I know why it's doing it, but I want you to leave down in the comments why you think it's doing it. What is making it do that? And yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think. But the car is done. It's absolutely perfect. Nothing wrong with it. Customer is going to be happy to get it back. And yeah, it is what it is. So as always, look, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below. But most importantly, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted. What do you do?
Get your hands dirty. See you on the next video.
Sorted.
Sorted.
Right, also, I turn the lights on and look at that. It changes. And it changes quite a bit. I wonder if I turn the spotlights on it, if it changes even more. Oh, it does. Wow. And if I press that, oh, I can make it overheat. I'm now just pressing the electric window button and I turn everything on. Look at that. Now I can fix all this with a diode. I'm not going to be able to do it because I don't have time, but I could fix it with a diode. So what do you think's wrong?